Hey, welcome back to another morning show with Breakfast with the Beards. Today is day 11. We are here in Denver, Colorado. Brett, how are you doing today, bud?
This is such a beautiful area. I'm doing great. I'm super motivated, super excited. We're going to have a great day.
And properly caffeinated.
Properly, thank you to my Starbucks cold brew. Thanks, Kyle, for getting this for me this morning.
And we also have a new guest on the show, another Brett as well. Brett, how you doing, bud?
Doing well. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I wasn't thinking correctly. I should have sat in between you guys, and we could have renamed this Between Two Bretts. That's delightful.
That is a missed opportunity right there, my friend.
Maybe we'll do that after the first commercial break. I don't know. We'll see how we go. Okay, we're in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
We're 5,000 feet in the air.
Actually, we're a little bit more than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd you find that one out?
Well, so right before this, I was breathing a little heavily, and I was like, maybe it's the mile-high city that's causing me to breathe heavily, not the lack of working out. How high up are we? Well, thanks to our GPS sensors and thanks to the IoT RV, we were actually able to figure out exactly how high up we are. And that number, do you guys want to take a guess?
I'm going to guess exactly 5280.
5280. Brett, what about you?
Yeah, and I'm a local. I would have to say about 58,000 or 5,800 feet.
All right, so we're a little bit above that. We are 6,017 feet above sea level right now. So
wow.
Perfect heavy breathing altitude.
Perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, you're not outside the norm here. Yeah. Well, we are here at beautiful Aero headquarters in Denver, Colorado. It is absolutely stunning. I think it might be one of our favorite stops so far, if not at the top.
Yep.
One specific reason is Brett was so gracious and brought us beautiful donuts this morning.
Thank you very much for that.
Our RV park was wonderful. We've had a nice, beautiful drive. We had some fun last night. What exactly did we do last night? What did we get into?
Yeah, so we got into Denver around, like 6:30 in the afternoon. Again, yesterday was the second longest drive of the trip, and Corey did a fantastic job. A lot of high winds going across the plains coming up 25 to Denver, so he was definitely keeping that huge wheel steady the entire time. So we got to Denver, and we were hungry, so we busted out the trusty scooters, and we did a nice 2-mile scoot to downtown Golden, Colorado to get some all-you-can-eat pizza, because that's exactly what we needed after this road trip.
Which has nothing to do with the heavy breathing this morning.
Nothing at all.
No, that was a good time. We had a wonderful time going down the sidewalks and bike lanes downhill into Golden, but then we ran into a problem after enjoying dinner, which was what goes down must come back up, unfortunately.
Yeah, going back to the RV park was a little challenging. The hills were a lot steeper than we had thought, and the batteries on our scooters were starting to die, so there were a few manual scoots, I guess, that we had to do to get up the hill. But that leads me to a really interesting use case for us. We know how much our battery is charged because all of our scooters have a meter on them, but that really didn't help us prepare for the ride home where our batteries were running out of power. Is this something that Splunk could do, Kyle?
I think we could absolutely figure this out. You know, if we were able to take a couple different data points, maybe the GPS data, some map data, and kind of see what the elevation change looks like versus how much juice we have left in our battery pack. Maybe apply some machine learning there based upon the weight of the rider and how that's changed across the duration of this trip. I don't think it would take a large model to figure out. Weight's probably increasing as the duration of the trip goes forward.
Pizza probably didn't help.
Oh yeah, it did not help at all.
Nor will this sweet, sweet donut.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we could absolutely do it. You think I'm missing anything there? Or?
Well, so we have GPS, altitude, we have battery power, and maybe a little bit more granular than just 4 bright lights that say, you're 50% or whatever. Get a little bit more detailed with that. And I think, to your point, forecasting. If I have to go another mile to get back to where I started, do I have enough battery power to get there?
Absolutely true. I think we could also maybe just do a trailer hitch attachment to the back of the scooter and load up on some batteries.
Yeah.
And that might be another fun way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Might be a little electrifying, though. So maybe we handle the software route instead.
Yeah.
So we are heading we've also had some excitement this morning. We started looking at our hike in Moab.
Yep.
We figured that out a bit. Brett figured that out
A
a Brett.
Brett's.
Well, it's a slip because Brett was the one who actually found it all. Brett, so what are we doing and where are we going during that?
Yeah, so Brett, I don't know if you've heard about this yet, but we are actually we're very ambitious right now. We'll see what happens on Saturday.
Yeah.
But we're very ambitious. We're going to be getting up before the sun even thinks about coming up, and we're going to be hiking about 1.5 miles to one of the more famous arches within the Arches National Park. And we are going to be doing the live stream from hopefully under the arch. So this poses some problems. What do you think the biggest challenge will be for us getting there?
Me waking up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'll wake up. I don't think you'll get out of bed.
Absolutely not. No, the problem is that we've been keeping the morning show at the same time, but going west, meaning we're just having to get up earlier and earlier as we cross the time zone. But anyways, I think the most difficult part, for me personally, I think it will be footwear. I packed light coming on this trip, which means I have a pair of Vans slip-ons, which I don't think will be the most conducive to a hike. So that's going to be mine. But what's going to be the worst here?
Obviously, you have to go with connectivity, right?
Yeah.
You know, go with the logical answer.
I went selfish.
Yeah. Weather's probably going to be a little chilly too. Did you pack for that?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I'm starting to blame Corey at this point from the pack light mention.
Well,
I think he's just out here to get me.
I think so. We have collectively 6 ankles. How many of those do you think are going to be rolled by the end of this hike?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, at least 2.
I think 5 or 6. I
Yeah.
think one ankle will survive.
Oh, this is going to be terrible. So now we're going to have a rescue mission with the beards.
Yeah, rescue mission with you. I'm excited for it though. It's a nice hike. We're going to get some headlamps because we are going to be doing 1.5 miles of this in the dark. It'll be an adventure, and really that's the theme of this entire trip, right? It's an adventure. It's showing how we can do cool things with our partners, how we can work together, and how we can use technology to have some fun. So I think it'll be a good time.
Yeah, one thing to call out for that too is that if the stream is delayed, don't panic. It's probably we just don't have connectivity. If it's 2 hours late, panic entirely. All right, well, since we did have some time yesterday, I think we actually were able to tinker a bit. So let's see what comes of that.
It's Tinker time. We'll try and tell a story. It's Tinker time with Brett, Kyle, and Corey. All right, we are back with Tinker time. Kyle, what
Yeah.
did we tinker on yesterday?
Oh man, first off, I gotta say, I love the song. It's just beautiful.
Thank you.
What did the quality of production there is stunning. What I'm tinkering with is Corey a couple years ago bought Estimote beacons, and if you've ever seen those, they look like rock climbing holds, but they've got 4 batteries in them and then a tiny little circuit board. And what they're able to do is ping with your cell phones, and then you can start to correlate locations within stores, restaurants, convention floors, or even the inside of an RV. So we were able to resurrect these, get the batteries replaced, and we're seeing how do we lay these out in an RV to properly track foot traffic as it goes around the RV as well. So that's what I worked on yesterday, but you had a bit of a struggle as well.
Yeah, so again, our IoT RV is an ever-evolving beast of a project, and one of the things we had issues with yesterday was getting the bathroom data to Splunk Enterprise. And so literally our digital pipes were clogged, and our heavy forwarder is not getting the data to Splunk Enterprise. I'm Jimmy Fallon all over the place right now. So Kyle,
So
what's the
were
issue?
you able to properly plumb it?
Not yet.
Not
We still have a
yet.
clogger.
No.
Okay, so we're still working on that. We do have a team working on it. We're getting through it. Our team of 2 here. But we'll get it done.
Together.
We will get it done.
Yeah.
We're trying to identify whether or not it's hardware or software, and then properly diagnosing it there. We do have replacements, so we can at least get it fixed, but part of it has just been the time of getting
Yeah, well,
that
let's talk
figured
about what
out.
we've done already to troubleshoot it, right?
Yep.
So we have restarted both our heavy forwarder and Splunk on cloud instance. We have tried to kind of pause the use of that so we can have a catch up. But right now, there is the dashboard shows 16 bathroom uses without it being cleaned. That's not accurate, so please don't think that we're animals if you're looking at our dashboard.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're identifying whether it's a connection between the heavy forwarder and our cloud instance, or whether it's the edge device into the heavy forwarder, right?
Well, so we've already done the edge device into the heavy forwarder. That's working, so that process is still good. What I think it is we went through some very desolate areas the last couple days, and I think networking caused a delay in getting the data from the heavy forwarder to the cloud, and it built up such a large batch that maybe it's so far back that the forwarder isn't pushing it now.
Yeah.
So we might need to send some new logs. I don't know for sure, but we're troubleshooting that point right now.
A missed opportunity for us, and I think we should implement it with all the infinite time we have, but I think it would have been a good opportunity for us to install VMware's Pulse on that from what we saw in the CSC in Austin a couple days ago. If you haven't seen that, it's Breakfast with the Beards on the CSC day in Austin. Check that out with our buddy Rob and Chris down at the CSC there. So we also had a bit of a tragedy on the RV. I wasn't paying attention and crushed my Nerf gun. RIP.
Yeah.
So we have a team diagnosing that as well. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, since we do have to rip it apart and put it back together, I figured this is probably a good time to get it connected to the internet. Because what is an IoT device if it's not a Nerf gun?
I can't agree with you more.
Yeah, so if we can figure out what use cases we need around that, then we'll get that fully populated and have a little device.
And if you have any suggestions so that we can justify our time doing this, please shoot them in the comments.
You're full of them today.
Pun intended today.
You are properly got them. It's not the air or the coffee. You're nailing it, bud. All right. Enough ridiculousness for that. Let's talk about our friend Brett over here, not this one. Our other good buddy, Brett. How you doing today, man?
Doing great. Beautiful day here in Colorado.
Thank you so much for letting us come out and be ridiculous in the Arrow HQ parking lot.
Yeah.
Now, what exactly is your title at Arrow?
Yeah, so I'm the Dell Technologies marketing manager with our ECS division, helping our go-to-market strategy at scale for Dell, VMware, RSA, and a handful of other companies.
Oh, great! Yeah, so you take care of the entire Dell Technologies family.
I do.
Oh, wow!
Yeah. With a team behind me, of course.
Right. Yeah, I imagine that's a pretty busy job.
That's right.
Especially, it's good fun. Now, just how big is Arrow? And what is Arrow, and what do they do, and kind of where do they fit in this entire world of technology?
Yeah, so, Arrow as a company, we're a technology disruptor. We're an aggregator of technology. We, work really, really hard to make sure that we're looking 5 years out. You'll hear that slogan quite a bit if you're, looking at our YouTube or checking out other channels.
Yeah.
But we're trying to find, what comes next, and we're trying to stay that step ahead. As a technology company, we dabble in a lot of different areas. You got your cybersecurity, you got your IoT, obviously. AI and machine learning is certainly coming on. Those are big topics around the campus. Cloud, obviously, being a center point and a focal point for a lot of those businesses. And then, of course, you have your, more legacy types of things that are still absolutely relevant. You have your, virtualization and infrastructure types of vendors and things that we will actually help aggregate. We also have a pretty large components business, and that's actually the biggest part of Arrow if you're looking at, what we do on a global scale. So we will actually procure components, technology components, and actually put solutions together for clients.
Oh, wow.
Or literally you can buy and piece together your own equipment. And as far as the size of the company, multi-billion-dollar company, global presence.
Really?
I believe over 70 different countries.
Wow.
We have a presence in.
Wow.
And last I checked, somewhere around 20,000 employees globally.
Wow.
But Denver is our headquarters. We moved here to Denver from our former headquarters in New York City. We were founded back in the the 30s on Radio Row down in New York. So,
cool.
But eventually we decided to put the stake in the ground here in Denver, and we haven't looked back.
I don't think you could have picked a more beautiful spot.
I know,
this
great.
is absolutely wonderful. Now, when we were walking in this morning, obviously we have the IoT RV.
Yeah.
I saw a race car in there
Yeah.
that had the word IoT on it.
Yes.
Can you share exactly what's going on there?
Yeah, so the race car, we have an IndyCar sponsorship, right? And that's certainly part of it. But a few years ago, our components division, IoT, various parts of our company came together and wanted to do something that, was really thought leader. And so we built what's called the SAM car. And the SAM car is something that, they basically took a Corvette and hooked it up to all sorts of different kinds of sensors and allowed for technology to go in and allow autonomous driving with one of our, partners, you could say, Sam Schmidt, who was formerly a professional race car driver, unfortunately had an accident and became a paraplegic.
Oh, wow.
And still had this passion for driving.
Yeah.
So we were trying to figure out how can we enable him to be able to drive again. And using sensors that adjust based on his head movement, his breathing, pressure being given from his mouthpiece, and other types of things, he is able to actually use that to steer and accelerate and decelerate the car.
Wow.
And has taken it up Pikes Peak, 14,000 feet.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
He's driven it on the Indy Speedway. He's gone cross country and actually does have a driver's license, I believe, in the state of Nevada at this point.
So Aero was able to give him the opportunity to enjoy his passion again,
right?
Using technology.
Yeah, and I mean he's been up there, going close to 180 miles an hour in this thing.
Oh my
so
gosh.
Wow.
he's not shying away from the opportunity. He's definitely making the most of it.
Wow.
I mean, at 180 miles, I mean, even less than that, but that's a huge. You need to make sure that everything is working, all the networking, everything, all the sensors are actually feeding that data. That's a massive problem that you have to do in real time. That's crazy.
Yeah, so we have a simulator that, some of our employees have actually been fortunate enough to try out themselves. It used to be in our headquarters building. It's currently, I think, in storage because we're currently building out a data center in our headquarters that's going to be for more of a customer use case and, sandboxing environment.
Yeah.
We had the simulator, we have the car, and then, of course, we have the IndyCar sponsorship. And, we do several IndyCar events every year, in various locations, just traveling with the circuit, and sponsor a couple of drivers.
I imagine you guys are part of a pretty big part of that, just being, worrying about the microsecond latency that you need for the IndyCar response times. It's a really exciting partnership. Yeah.
So within Aero, though, there's another division, Aero ECS.
Yeah, Enterprise Computing Solutions.
Okay.
So this is what a lot of people would refer to as the distribution arm of Aero, or the aggregation of that technology. So we are working with hundreds of different manufacturers of technology products, all the way from Dell and HP on down to some of the up and comers. We got a lot of startups coming up on the line card. Red Hat, Palo Alto, VMware, Splunk, Veeam. There's a lot of different suppliers that we have in our line card that we're all trying to provide scale for their business. So, as the marketing person, and working with sales teams and technical teams, we are an extension of those manufacturers trying to find ways that we can deliver their solutions to market at a scale that they can't deliver themselves. So the distribution aspect is kind of what that part of our business is known for, but we are very solutions oriented. We are trying to find out what the customer use cases for these technologies are and try and solve those using our line card and even bring in other vendors with that in mind. And it's a fantastic business to work for.
Yeah.
So what are some of those use cases that you're helping solve with this line card?
Yeah, so hyper-converged, is a big one right now for us, or for me personally and my team. We're trying to figure out how can we solve the massive amounts of data that companies are dealing with now, and how do you manage that, store it, make sense of it, learn from it. And hyper-converged infrastructure with Dell Technologies is certainly a big piece of what our strategy is on my team. and leveraging some of the other relationships with, like I said, VMware, and to name Splunk, obviously, with the big data aspect. Trying to find ways that we can combine those technologies to mine the data, make better sense of it, and make smarter decisions with it.
Yeah, and I guess you guys also help provide a holistic solution for a customer as well. So then they're not having to piecemeal it out, but they're able to come in, test, and
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so we have our demo lab that I mentioned before. The solutions lab is certainly a big piece of that. Our technical team is a big piece of that. We have 60 engineers just in ECS alone.
Wow.
And all of those engineers kind of have specialties, but they all also kind of dabble and work together on all the technology. And we were at one point doing weekly learning sessions just in the morning, kind of like this show, breakfast with the technical team, and we called it Tech Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
And so every Tuesday they come out and kind of let our entire team know what the latest and greatest is, and kind of go from a basic level down deep, and kind of let us know what the important use cases were.
Oh, it's incredible.
But the engineering team is a very big focal point of our value add, and certainly helps enable our solution providers and therefore our customers with finding the solutions that make the most sense given the use case or the market, the vertical that they might be in.
Yeah.
So I think one of my favorite stories about what Arrow has done to provide a solution was actually at Conf. I think it was 2 years ago, where you took a lot of the misfits, which is like a Fitbit, and handed them out to everybody or a lot of people at Conf, and then splunked those misfits to show how happy Conf is, which is a great title for it because it was looking at how late people were staying up, how much sleep they were actually getting, how many steps they were taking, and that really told a story of, if you're not getting a lot of steps and you're staying up late, not getting a lot of sleep, maybe you're not that happy or you're a little grumpy. So I still think that's one of my favorite stories, just to put that into a very Splunky, real-world scenario of how Arrow is doing that.
Yeah, and they had a dashboard up at Conf that was kind of scrolling through and giving standings for people. So, in a way, if you weren't doing well that day, you're kind of getting shamed for it, if you're not getting your steps in.
I looked at it the other way.
Yeah.
If you stayed up all night, it's thumbs up. You're number one on the list.
Up, right?
Well, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah. So our team that was here, at ECS North America, as well as some of our counterparts overseas, kind of came together and decided that was something unique that they wanted to try at .conf, and it was a big hit.
Now, speaking of Conf, will you have a team there this year as well?
I think we'll have a few individuals out there. We're certainly going to try to have a presence, at least to, visit with our solution providers and kind of learn about, what the latest and greatest from Splunk will be, and what some of those new partnerships that they're looking at, so that we can maybe use that to our advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing how many different solutions are coming out of the Arrow Labs and Arrow ECS area for that. And what would be the best way for customers to engage with you all to ask some questions?
Yeah, well, we have our ecs.arrow.com website. That's a good place to go and start and look at the line card, look at the different technologies that we procure. Of course, arrow.com, if you're looking for more of the component side of the business, is a great place to go and learn a little bit more about, Arrow. We have a YouTube channel. We have, all sorts of social media. So you can check out LinkedIn, Twitter, and we're on Twitter and LinkedIn, ECS Arrow, is one of the places you can go for that information about what our division's working on. And, of course, you can look at the line card and, through clicking through those websites, you can often get connected. My mugshot is on one of those websites right now. So, you can get connected with the VMware team, and it'll direct an email to me personally.
Awesome. Well, Brett, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again to Arrow for sponsoring the road trip to Conf.
Of course.
And we'll be going in a bit more deep on our podcast this afternoon. So if you've been interested in what we've been saying so far, take a click in this afternoon and listen to that. We'll see you later.
Adopting a true hybrid cloud with common infrastructure and consistent operations across your private and public clouds provides streamlined operations, consistent management, and lower TCO. VMware Cloud Foundation on Dell EMC VxRail delivers the simplest path to hybrid cloud with a fully automated deployment of VMware SDDC on the VxRail hyperconverged platform. Customers realize 15 times faster cloud deployments with VCF on VxRail, and day 2 operations are simplified with built-in automation and full-stack integration between VxRail Manager and VMware SDDC Manager. Full-stack integration means VxRail Manager and SDDC Manager have been integrated to allow for an automated and seamless update and upgrade process orchestrated by SDDC Manager. That's right, the hyper-converged infrastructure layer and VMware Cloud software stack are lifecycle managed as one complete, automated, turnkey hybrid cloud platform, significantly reducing risk and increasing operational efficiencies. VCF on VxRail enables consistent management and orchestration between private and partner public clouds, enabling organizations to run, manage, connect, and secure their entire application portfolio across multiple clouds. Dell EMC VxRail, the hyper-converged infrastructure foundation for the Dell Technologies Cloud Platform, empowers customers to unlock innovation, foster operational freedom, and evolve predictably.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of Breakfast with the Beards. Breakfast with the Beards is part of the Big Data Beard road trip to Splunk's Conf 2019. Be sure to check out all of our great content at bigdatabeard.com and also follow our podcast in your favorite podcast app simply by searching Big Data Beard. This amazing adventure would not be possible without our incredible sponsors. We thank you, Dell Technologies, VMware, Red River Technologies, Arrow Electronics, and Converging Data for making the road trip to Splunk.conf 2019 possible.